So something that we wanted to add in here for the new formula for this show is some rankings talk, some rankings discussion. The no-gi rankings are sort of integral to the who's number one thing. We've changed all the weight classes so that they're the weights that we're going to use for who's number one that we're going to eventually probably crown champions in and everything. So it's basically the same as UFC without a 125 division. But this one that we wanted to talk about today is the middleweight division, 185 pounds, if you want to pull that up, Tyler. So, I mean, this is a pretty wide open division. Something that's interesting here is that Craig could probably make this division. He has told me that he could make it for the right weight. He's meeting Ronaldo at 195 in between each other. But Roberto's number one, who Craig has tapped recently in October at who's number one. Wagner Hosha, number two, a guy who's a freaking competitor on who's number one. William Tackett, number three, our FloGrappling, 2020 newcomer of the year, rising star of the year. Yep. John Blank just lost to Wagner. Hibamar, no-gi world champion. Gabriel Almeida. Pedro Mourinho will be an interesting guy to get in the mix. Andrew Wiltsey from Daisy Fresh, ranked number 8. He won no-gi pans at black belt. Ronaldo Jr. is ranked number 9. I think he won like American National. Oh, he won no-gi pans as well at black belt at the weight below Wiltsey. They were middleweight and
those guys have a history.
Cool. They fought a whole bunch of times at the color belts. They fought no-gi world as well. They fought no-gi a couple times, I think. And then 10, we got Felipe Cesar Silva. Reed, what do you think about this weight class here?
I mean, the 185, this is always kind of one of the most exciting weight classes in UFC and in combat sports and everything like that. And I think it's highlighted by the most electrifying grappler in the sport right now, in my opinion. That's Roberto Jimenez. Nobody's more exciting, I think, than Roberto. Nobody brings more energy and just badass jiu-jitsu to the table than a guy like Roberto. Love to see, he's a young guy out there. Love to see him at the top there. Hopefully we'll see him at ADCC soon and some more Who's Number One events. Who knows? Hopefully he'll be on some soon. But yeah, this is a loaded card. John Blank is another new guy who's making a name for himself out there. Hibamar has been looking good lately. So this is a stacked one. It looks a lot different though than maybe 12 months ago. I feel like that's a fair statement to make.
12 months ago, Roberto's
not even a black belt, or maybe
brown belt still. I think maybe he made his black belt debut in February against Keenan. So he definitely wasn't known as like some. He's gone out and beat Wagner and Nicky at nogi at this point too. So he's up there against the pros. Corey, anything stand out to you looking at these rankings here?
Yeah, we spent a lot of time talking about Ronaldo Jr. today. So just one more thing here, but I can't think of a match in the top 5 that I wouldn't love to see Ronaldo against.
True.
He's a great match. We had him against Wagner at who's number one 6-7 months ago. Still a great match. Him against Roberto, him against William Tackett, him against John Blank. I would love to see him against Andrew Wiltsey again too.
Him against William Tackett. That's an interesting one. That's definitely
Ronaldo versus William Tackett sounds crazy. I feel like if I remember correctly, I think him and Roberto might be some sort of purple brown belt rivalry. I feel like they probably threw down a few times.
Yeah.
William Tackett, John Blank's an interesting one. Ronaldo versus William Tackett. Any other matches here that stand out to you, Reed?
Both those guys are so young, like William and Ronaldo. That you were talking about Ronaldo having that gas tank.
Yeah.
William too, right? Those like young guys who just literally never get tired. I hate rolling with those guys in the gym. Those like 16-year-old blue belts who just like beat me up for the entire time, never get tired.
Yeah, there's a bunch of. Even looking at the bottom half, Pedro Mourinho and Andrew Wiltsey are 2 newer black belts who are.
Pedro's not even a black belt yet.
Pedro's somehow not even a black belt yet, but. Basically
long-time brown belt, though.
Yeah, basically is when it comes to no-gi. And Andrew Wilt, those are 2 guys that get after it, too. So you talk about Ronaldo, Andrew, Pedro coming up, William Tackett, Roberto. This is an exciting bracket for a long time to come. And you even got an older guy, a veteran like Wagner Hosha ain't going anywhere.
I love that like Wagner is the veteran in there who's just like, beating back the younger generation.
How old is Wagner? 38?
Somewhere around there.
I think he's double the age of William Tackett. I think William Tackett might be 19.
I think Wagner too fits in so much better in this weight class than he did at what we were calling 77, right? Because here it seems like his personality fits his size a little bit better. I think he can still rough up people in this division, and it just seems like a more exciting, more kind of grisly match.
Yeah, and for his style, the way he likes to wrestle with people and everything, and his last couple matches, I believe, they were both against top 10 guys here. There's who's number one matches, at least. He beat John Blank at the last one. He beat Ronaldo at the who's number one before that. So, I mean, Reed, what match, if you had to pick a match out of all these guys, or even somebody from this weight class who's not ranked, who would you be looking at matching up here?
Matching up, I don't know. I'm going to pick out the name Pedro Mourinho just because you mentioned him and he's still a brown belt, but I'd love to see Pedro in this mix. Him and Roberto have had quite a few wars over the years, and
it's another one. Yep.
So you could run that one back again. I believe both those guys have submitted each other kind of a few times, so that one's crazy. But maybe Pedro Mourinho versus John Blank would be a good one to do. See where those guys are at. So, both kind of mid tier in the rankings right now. See who's got that elite pedigree.
I think I'll go with, they already threw down once at an event, a cool event that was on YouTube in Iowa called BJJ Woodstock, a hell of a name for an event, but I'll go with William Tackett and Andrew Wiltse. Everybody knows, I make those Daisy Fresh things. I'm buddies with Andrew, but they had an entertaining match last time they went. It's two guys with never-ending gas tanks. I think the future of this division, I think it's guaranteed to be a fun one. What are you thinking, Corey? Who would you want to see throw down out of here?
Reed, you stole the words right out of my mouth with Pedro and John Blank, but I'd also really like to see Wiltse and Wagner. I think that's just such a I don't know what to think of that match. I don't know what we get from it. So I think
I'd love to just see Andrew's reaction, just knowing Andrew all this time, because Andrew's the type of guy. He doesn't know who anybody is. Like he'd go out there and wouldn't know much about Wagner, and Wagner would start hitting him in the chest and messing with his fingers. I'd like to see the look on Andrew's face, but.
All these guys against Andrew. Andrew's a young. That's what's crazy most about the rankings here is that, like, really from last year to what that 88 looked like, to now, or 185 what it looked like to now, it's just completely different. You have so many of these young guys, and it makes good for the future of the sport. That's for sure.
Crazy good division. So go to FloGrappling.com. Check out the rest of the no-gi rankings, and we have, I think, like 8 for the men, like 5 or 6 for the women. We really expanded them when we moved to these new weight classes. Got pound for pound in both. So yeah, the FloGrappling official no-gi rankings. And next